How's it going, everybody? Look, today I just wanted to take you through some interest targeting updates on Facebook that are probably going to affect you to some capacity. So let's jump straight into it, shall we? Updates to detailed targeting. We're removing some detailed targeting options, and that was 2 days ago on the 19th of January, and it will come into full effect on the 17th of March. So you've essentially got a couple of months to make your adjustments. But existing ad sets and campaigns, for the most part, with affected targeting options will continue to run until the 17th, but may require you to update your targeting selections. After this date, the affected ad sets will be paused to prevent misdelivery, and if the affected targeting options are used for exclusion purposes, affected targeting options will automatically be removed if they are being used for inclusion purposes, and we will provide alternative targeting recommendations within our ads manager when possible, which is a point I wanted to give you a quick example of that I've noticed very recently as well. So alternative targeting products to reach your audiences outside of you being affected by some of these interests going away. Broad targeting, which means no targeting. Custom audiences, which is essentially a retargeting campaign. Lookalike audiences, that would be something I'd be looking into. Lookalike expansion, this is something we've been testing quite a bit, so this will be quite relevant for those of you where your lookalike audiences maybe aren't that powerful or aren't that specific or targeted. So you can click lookalike expansion if you have that option at the ad set level and reach people beyond or outside of your lookalike audiences, which is a great idea. And pretty much the same with targeting expansion as well. So what interests are being taken away or changed or deprecated? We strongly believe that the best advertising experiences are personalized. I agree. Blah, 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 blah. As part of these ongoing efforts, starting 2 days ago, we will be removing some detailed targeting options because they relate to topics people may perceive as sensitive, such as targeting options referencing causes, organizations, public figures that relate to health, which is an interesting one, race or ethnicity, political affiliation, religion, or sexual orientation. Those last five, absolutely agree. I think that's a bit wild. So some of the causes, for example, health causes like pages or groups I can imagine that you can target as interest, as lung cancer awareness, World Diabetes Day, chemotherapy, kind of makes sense. Sexual orientation, I agree. Religious practices and groups like Catholic Church, Jewish holidays, this includes Christianity. I know there's a few of you out there who are in the business coaching or even marketing world where you work with a community of Christians essentially, and so you're targeting that particular interest. So you really want to get your skates on, create some nice powerful lookalikes and use that as of the 17th of March, just a heads up on that. And then also obviously political beliefs, social issues, causes, organizations, and figures. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We don't really want to be targeting people based on their political beliefs. Additionally, similar to previous updates, we will also be removing targeting options that have not been widely used because they may be made redundant with others or too granular. So that's a bit upsetting with them taking away interests that are too granular. I've actually had some success with using, and what they mean by that is essentially targeting interests that leave you with a very small targeted audience. But what we do is we use that as kind of bait to teach the algorithm that, hey, this is what we're looking for. And then we'll turn on interest expansion, and that allows it to move outside of that true granular interest to find better results, which has worked okay for the most part. So that's probably the biggest hit for me personally and our clients. So you can have a read of that one. That's on developers.facebook.com blog post. And this kind of is almost a nail in a coffin as well on the same. And I can imagine this has probably pushed this along a bit as well. So a new privacy bill would put major limits on targeted advertising. A new bill seeks to dramatically reshape the online advertising landscape to the detriment of companies like Facebook, Google, and data brokers that leverage deep stores of personal information to make money from targeted ads. The bill would dramatically limit ways that tech companies serve ads to their users, banning the use of personal data altogether. Now, that sounds like doom and gloom. It's really not, and I'll show you why. Any targeting based on protected class information such as race, gender, religion, and personal data purchased from data brokers will be off limits were the bill to pass. Platforms could still target ads based on general location data at the city or state level, and contextual advertising, which for the most part, just means you've got the right audience with the right offer, based on the content a user is interacting with, would still be allowed. So to me, I decode that as awesome. I can still target people who've, say, watched my videos for the most part, if they haven't opted out of tracking with the iOS thing. What's most interesting, I think, is, let's say in Australia and all of the states within Australia, it's saying that you can still target ads based on general location data at the city or state level. I'm wondering whether we would lose access to this at a national level, and if so, does that mean that all we have to do to gain access to these targeting options again, maybe you just have a campaign for each state? I don't actually know, but thought I'd throw that out there. I do know that there are quite a few of you out there that target based on gender, so maybe you have a female-only product or service, so your lookalikes are going to weigh in quite heavily here, so be ready for that one. Now that I go over that, I think that's probably going to affect most business owners, not being able to just target male or female and everything else in between. The surveillance advertising business model is premised on the unseemly collection and hoarding of personal data to enable ad targeting. This pernicious practice, what does that even mean? Pernicious, I'm going to have to look that up. Sorry, fam. It's probably going to mean sinister, having a harmful effect. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Never heard that word. There you go. I've learned something live. That allows online platforms to chase user engagement at great cost to our society, and it fuels disinformation, discrimination, voter suppression. That's a big one. I think in the grand scheme of things, this obviously has very political tones to that particular one, and obviously someone's going to benefit from it. But anyway, so that's that article on TechCrunch if you want to have a look at that one. Banning Surveillance Advertising Act. Whether it goes through or not remains to be seen. But a really good example, so with a couple of our crypto clients, these are the interests that we were using: Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and Ethereum. And now they've essentially gone away and we've been told to use this digital currency, which to me, it just looks like they've merged all of these interests, which I don't believe for a second are underutilized given the current hype around cryptocurrency and NFTs and everything. But perhaps it's all falling under one interest just to solidify these data sets, perhaps. I'm not too sure, but that's a really unique example that was only a couple of days ago. So that's all the targeting updates I have for you today, my friends. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon. See you later.